big welcome to Gunning and Cormier. Cormier. J.P. Cormier. Oh my gosh. It's J.P. Cormier on the big plate live from Barley's, y'all.
Summer's afternoon, a week before the sun went down,
a lassie with her brand new gown came o'er the hills to Gowrie. Raised her beauty loud and long, around her waist my arms are flung.
I said, my dearie, will you come to see the hills of Gowrie? Like a rosebud wet from morning shower, blooming fresh within the sunny bower. Katie was the fairest flower that ever bloomed in Gowrie.
I'll take you to yon wooded dale where blooms a purple heather bell.
And though we'll tarry for a while before we go to Gowrie, soft kisses on her lips are laid, the blush upon her cheeks soon spread.
She whispered modestly and said, I'll go with you to Gowrie.
Like a rosebud wet from morning shower, blooming fresh within the sunny bower. Katie was the fairest flower that ever bloomed in Gowrie. Like a rosebud wet from morning shower, blooming fresh within the sunny bower. Katie was the fairest flower that ever bloomed in Gowrie. We walked through fields of mountain thyme.
I offered her a love so fine,
My bonny lass of Gowrie, like a rosebud wet from morning shower, blooming fresh within the sunny bower. Katie was the fairest flower that ever bloomed in Gowrie. Like a rosebud wet from morning shower, blooming fresh within the sunny bower. Katie was the fairest flower that ever bloomed in Gowrie. 'Twas on a summer's afternoon, a wee before the sun went down, a lassie with her brand new gown came o'er the hills to Gowrie. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much. It's a great pleasure to be here with you here in Knoxville, Tennessee. We come from a little province northeast of Maine called Nova Scotia. And individually, we both come from the smallest places in that province. And so this is a big city for us. This is a song that I wrote. I say that loosely because David is the the true craftsman among us. He's a real dedicated writer. He writes a new album about every 10 minutes or months, or he's one of those guys. So I wrote this song and I took it over to his house and I said, "Hey, Dave, I got a new song," and I sang it for him, and he looked over at me and he had that eye of suspicion on me. The eyebrow went up and I knew there was something amiss. So I kind of got frustrated. I said, "Okay there, smart aleck, you finish it then." And so he did. Every man must find the reason for his soul and for his life. We must reap from wisdom's season, because the harvest won't happen twice.
And there are those the time has shown us are the faithful and the strong. They are the ones who never leave us. They are the ones who know our song.
So take my hand and take my burden. I'll lift you up when times grow hard. Some trees grow higher than the others. We're more than friends, we're brothers.
My life has been an endless answer to all the questions one might ask. Life is just a lonely dancer because we play the song too fast.
When I look at all the faces that are scratched upon my wall, I see the times, I see the places where you refuse to let me fall. So take my hand and take my burden. I'll lift you up when times grow hard. Some trees grow higher than the others. We're more than friends, we're brothers. Some people live on different mountains. We all seek to touch the sky. There's more than books and blood between us. We're all the same
Behind our eyes,
so take my hand and take my burden. I'll lift you up when times grow hard. Some trees grow higher than the others. We're more than friends, we're brothers.
so I guess we often get the crowd to sing along here.
Yeah, you guys got to be on the radio too.
But yeah, that's right. We're all together in this. There's no pressure. To be honest, you look so relaxed this afternoon, we hate to bother you. We'll throw the lyrics out and you can repeat them back to us.
So take my hand
Take my hand.
and take my burden. I'll lift you up when times grow hard.
Some trees grow higher than the others. We're more than friends. We're...
There you go.
You can say whatever you like there. That's your line.
That's any two-syllable word you can think of at that exact moment. Remember, we're on the radio. You drive her right in there, hard as you can go. You ready? Here we go. So take my hand and take my burden.
I'll lift you up.
I'll lift you up when times grow hard.
Some trees grow higher.
Some trees grow higher than the others. We're more than friends.
We're brothers.
They're singing. I can hear them.
Yep, there's still a lot of potential in the room. Here we go. So take my hand and take my burden. I'll lift you up.
I'll lift you up when times grow hard. You got it, man.
Some trees grow higher than the others.
We're more than friends. We're not gonna do it. Take my hand and take my burden. I'll lift you up when times grow hard. Some trees grow higher than the others. We're more than friends.
Gunning and Cormier with us here today on the Big Plate, live from Barley's. So just to make it a little easier for our audience here, that's Dave, and that's JP right there. And I guess I should say Dave Gunning. So, because these guys are musicians separately as well as together individually.
Exactly. We don't always do the Bert and Ernie routine.
But today we're getting the Bert and Ernie. Let's start, Dave, a little bit. Tell us about how you two decided. I know that you had collaborated before you decided to record together, but what made you finally just say, hey, let's just go ahead and do a duo thing?
Well, I was kind of pressing for it for years because we've sang together for 30 years and worked together in all kinds of different ways and produced records together and stuff. And every time we were at a festival, they'd put us on stage together and we'd sing. And every time after it was over, we'd look at each other and go, why don't we make a record of this? And finally, like 7-8 years ago, we made the first one. And
Yeah, he actually moved to my area. He was only 10 minutes from the house, and he was coming over in the evenings anyway, so we figured we may as well be productive. So every night he'd come over, we would record one song and hanging out, so.
All right. So now there's two projects. The most current one is Leather and Dust. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am. That's there's a good story behind that. We'll tell later before we sing that song. But yeah, there was quite a bit of space between the two records too. But it's because the first album did so well. We toured for 5 years on it. Everybody just sort of, we have our own fan bases, and they kind of came together and created a new one. It was really fun. So yeah.
So when it comes to the writing, like you mentioned there that you wrote that song, but he finished it up. Do you all collaborate a lot, or do you write individually?
It's different every time.
Yeah.
We'll take it any way it comes. Sometimes we start stuff together, looking out the window, driving down the road, we might think of something, let's write it with this or that. And he's one of my favorite songwriters, and like he mentioned, we've been working together since the mid-90s, so there's that comfort zone there. And sometimes we just working ideas together. Sometimes I'll start something, he'll start something, we'll pitch it to one another, and any way it comes, really.
All right. Well, they do have some merch with them. It might not be in the house just at this particular moment.
Oh, it's not too far. It's just out in the parking lot there.
It's out in the parking lot.
Not to look overly optimistic, but I have a Sharpie in my back pocket here.
So, there will be a little opportunity after the show to certainly stop by and shake and howdy with them and pick up a little merch if you like. If you're out there in Radio Land, it's Gunning and spelt out Cormier. Now, that's Cormier. I'm going to assume that's French.
It is French.
It is French. That's the way those Canadians do up there. Just add a .com at the end of that, and you'll find the website. You can also search them out individually as well, because they also both have their own individual sites. Again, like I said, check in howdy with them after the show and make them feel welcome, y'all. This is Gunning and Cormier on the Big Plate, live from Barley's.
Just a baby, too little for a cotton sack. I played in the dirt while the others worked till they couldn't straighten up their backs. And I made myself a promise when I was big enough to run, I'd never stay a single day in that Oklahoma sun. But I never picked cotton, but my mother did, and my brother did, and my sister did. And my daddy died young, working in the coal mines.
Folks said I grew up early, and the farm couldn't hold me then. So I stole $10 in a pickup truck, I never went back again. It was fast, cars and whiskey, Long-haired girls and fun. I hid everything money could bring. I took it all with a gun. But I never picked cotton.
But my mother did, and my brother did, and my sister did. And my daddy died young, working in the coal mines. Get it, Dave? Well, it was Saturday night in Memphis when a redneck grabbed my shirt. When he said, go back to your cotton sack, I left him dying there in the dirt. So they'll take me in the morning to the gallows just outside. And at the time I got there ain't a hell of a lot I can look back on with pride.
But I never picked cotton.
But my mother did, and my brother did, and my sister did. And my daddy died young, working in the coal mines. Yeah, my mother did, and my brother did, and my sister did. And my daddy died young, working in the coal mines. But I never picked cotton. Thank you. So as our kind host said, we have 2 records out, and the second one, our agent was booking the North American tour for this new album, a release tour. But we hadn't started it yet. We hadn't started the record yet. And weren't really telling him this. But he had all these dates, 27 shows from Halifax to Vancouver and all down through the U.S., New York, everywhere. And pretty soon he started to call us and go, well, what's the name of the record at least? Tell me what it's called. And we didn't even have that. So we started brainstorming over the phone one morning, and Dave was sending me all these, as I said, he's a craftsman, right? Sending me all these beautiful, lofty, esoteric names. Prophets and rainbows, Epiphany, and just it was all this stuff, beautiful stuff. Of course, I was sending them back all the gag versions. Mine was like muskrats and buckets, and stuff like that, hedgehogs and rakes. And so he got mad at me. He's never really been mad at me much. I don't think he's the nicest man I ever met in my life. So it's kind of hard to tell he's mad. And so he FaceTimed me, and he's like, "Geez, JP. You're not helping much." And I was like, well, yeah, I know, but it's funny as hell, isn't it? And then he hung up on me. But then about 45 seconds later, he wrote me back with Leather and Dust. And I immediately called him and said, that's it. That's the name of the record. I said, now go off in the corner there, wherever you write songs at, and write one called Leather and Dust, because we don't have one. And so he did.
Rattle of the barn door, an ancient sound we've heard before. Skies turn black, we're batting down. With the lantern full, we settled in. We listened and we waited. The wind rose high, and then it faded. Leather and dust, old wheels and rust. We keep going round because we must. We'll stick it out together to the edge of forever somehow. Wearing through the leather and the dust. Wearing through the leather and the dust.
then in the golden morning, scattered all across the fields, faces down, open wide, looking all the work of yesterday. Our hearts and saddles heavy. If we keep on, we're never gonna die. Leather and dust, old wheels and rust, we keep going round because we must. We'll stick it out together to the edge of forever somehow, wearing through the leather and the dust, wearing through the leather and the dust. Not every storm will bring the rain or make the green return again, or burn the weeds of memories to ash. We carve into the summer fields. The harvest grows around us. We haul it up with our calloused hands. Leather and dust, old wheels and rust, we keep going round because we must. We'll stick it out together to the edge of forever somehow, wearing through the leather and the dust, wearing through the leather and the dust, wearing through the leather and the dust.
It's Gunning and Cormier with us here today on the Blue Plate Special. Real quickly, I need to mention that the WDVX Blue Plate Special is presented by Barley's right here in Knoxville's Old City on Jackson Avenue. It is home of the Big Plate on Fridays, y'all. Next Friday, the Scott Southworth Band's going to be here with us once again. You can always find out who is headed in our direction by visiting our website at WDVX.com. Additional support comes from Visit Knoxville and the Senior Financial Group, your neighborhood Medicare partner. For more than 30 years, Senior Financial Group has been on a mission to make Medicare more affordable. Information and assistance available at sfgmedicare.com, 865-777-0153. Gunning and Cormier are our guest here today on the Big Plate live from Barley's. They are in the middle of a two-night stand, I believe, over in Nashville there at the world-famous Station Inn. So they'll be headed back to Nashville tonight for another show there at the Station Inn. I just bring that up because they played in Nashville last night. They got up this morning. There is an hour time difference between Knoxville and Nashville. They drove here to do this show for us, and then they're turning right back around to drive back to Nashville again after this show to do another show there at the Station Inn. So certainly shake and howdy with them after the show and thank them for being here with us today. The routing didn't exactly work for their plans today, but they made it happen. We appreciate them being here with us today. You can find the complete tour schedule right there on their website at gunningandcormier.com. there is a love bucket down here as well. You know, let them know, show them a little love, and let them know we appreciate them being here with us today. It's Gunning and Cormier on the Big Plate, live from Barley's.
Years ago, I lost my heart in the city. When the night comes, I want to see the stars.
I try to keep my distance from the highway, in the place we fell in love right from the start. There's no shame here in knowing all your neighbors, more than a mailbox and a name.
Living where the currency is favors, and no one minds when you run naked in the rain.
Whoa, on the back roads,
When the day is through,
whoa, on the back roads,
then I'm close to you.
now it don't matter where you're going. People wave like they know where you've been.
When a tree falls, we leave the roots up showing, 'cause everything around here just comes back again. And if we make a little place beside the river, most of what we need is growing in the yard.
In our little world we'll spend there forever, never having to be going very far.
Oh, on the back roads, when the day is through.
Oh, on the back roads,
And I'm close to you.
oh, on the back roads,
I'm gonna get back to you. Years ago, lost my heart in the city. When the night comes, wanna see the stars. And I try to keep my distance from the highway, in the place I fell in love right from the start.
oh, on the back roads,
When the day is through,
oh, on the back roads, I'll get close to you.
oh, on the back roads. When the day is through,
Oh, on the back roads,
time to get back to you.
oh, on the back
Roads. Johnny. Oh, Johnny. Yeah, skip. Oh, yeah, okay, right on. Well, here's a song that I was playing in the Catskill Mountains in Phoenicia, New York, a few years ago, and the couple that I was staying with had an incredible CD collection. They wanted to play me some music that they figured I hadn't heard before, and they played me a couple of songs written by a writer named Tom Pacheco from their area, and the songs were so good. The first one was called Grandma's Blue Blanket. It made me cry. It was so good. And then they played a song called There Was a Time. And I couldn't believe how good the song was. And I said, I can't wait to get home and play these for JP. He's going to love them. And they said, here, take our CDs with you and just mail them back to us, because you might have trouble finding them. So I put the music onto my phone. And first chance we had to get together, I played the songs for JP, and they had the same effect for him. And Grandma's Blue Blanket, he loved it. And then I looked at him after There Was a Time, and yeah, we used to have those in Canada. So anyway, I played him There Was a Time. After I played him that one, I looked over and there were tears coming down his cheeks, and I knew that he loved the song, and it was a little awkward. He was crying quite a bit, so I did the only thing I know to do. I held him. I didn't know what else to do, and he likes that. And So, but what was awkward is that he kept wanting to hear the song over and over again. 6 times we listened to the song. I said, buddy, I can't hold you all night. So we promised we'd record this one together, and we can't wait to play it for you here this afternoon. It's a song that kind of covers every topic under the sun, really, and it's so masterfully written, and it's one of our favorite songs. It's a Tom Pacheco song called There Was a Time.
There was a time when rivers ran clear, the birds and the wind were all you could hear.
The air was so sweet in the morning sunshine. Each day was a treat. There was a time. There was a time when people would share whatever they had with friends who were there.
They'd sit on the grass on an evening sublime and drink from one glass. There was a time. There was a time when school was a place where knowledge was gained and classrooms were safe.
And the playgrounds were fun, young voices and rhyme, with no fear of guns. There was a time. And there was a time when people could trust the ones they'd elect to watch over us.
They'd never pull strings, they'd not take a dime from corporate kings. There was a time. There was a time your job was secure. The plant would not move to Kuala Lumpur.
And the unions were strong, your benefits fine. You felt you belonged. There was a time. There was a time when love would endure. You'd marry for life, for rich or for poor.
And no matter how steep the cliffs you might climb, you'd share every leap. There was a time. There was a time they'd measure your worth by what good you did while you were on earth.
Before money ruled and success was defined by celebrity fools. There was a time. And there was a time you'd pick up your mail. The letters were ships, the stamps were the sales.
And you never had fear of what you might find hidden inside. There was a time. There was a time when people would stand and fight for their rights. They'd march hand in hand before the big sleep.
Well planned and designed, turn lions to sheep. There was a time. There was a time, not long in the past, when everything changed too much and too fast. We stand by the sea and treasure its wine.
its waves remind us there was a time, there once was a time.
This is Gunning and Cormier with us here today on the Blue Plate Special. We've got time for one last song from them here today. Again, you can search out Dave Gunning or J.P. Cormier individually, or find the website there, gunningandcormier.com. Again, they're headed back to Nashville this evening to the Station Inn, so heads up Nashville. We want to invite y'all here to join us again this evening. Tonight's First Friday here in downtown Knoxville. Josh Oliver will be our guest at Visit Knoxville for First Friday Live. You can find information about that by visiting our website at WDVX.com. Also, tomorrow morning is our kids' stuff, and it will be followed tomorrow afternoon by the Blue Plate Special with Grant Langston will be with us tomorrow. Next Friday on the Big Plate, Scott Southworth Band will be here, so visit that calendar and join us for some real live music. Feel free to shake and howdy with these guys after the show, and certainly thank them for being here with us today. I'll start that process myself by saying thank you to both of you for being here with us today. I know it was an early morning, and you lose, and then you lose that hour, but you're going to gain it.
Didn't even have to milk one cow. It was awesome.
Yeah.
So thank y'all so much. Will you leave us with the last tune here today?
Yeah, thanks, Red. Thanks for having us on the show. Thank you, everybody, for coming. And yeah, we're so happy to be here. Up late was I each morning to see my love came o'er the hills. She skipped the burning red to me, and I met her with goodwill.
I neither wanted ewes nor lambs, while his flocks near me lay. She gathered in the sheep at night and cheered me all of the day.
Oh, the broom, the bunny, bunny broom, the broom of the cutting house. Fain would I be in the old country, herding her father's yows.
She tuned her pipes and reed so sweet, the birds stood listening by, and even the dull cattle stood and gazed, charmed with her melody.
Fate that I should banished me, came heavily and mourned, because I love the fairest lass that ever yet was born. Oh, the broom, the bonny, bonny broom, the broom of the cutting house. Fain would I be in the old country, herding her father's cows. Adieu, you gotta now as I do. Farewell, all your pleasures there. To wander by her side again is all I crave for care. Oh, the broom, the bunny, bunny broom, the broom of the cutting house. Fain would I be in the old country, herding her father's cows. Oh, the broom, the bunny, bunny broom, father's house.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Gunning and Cormier, y'all, thank you. And join us again next time for more real live music on the big plate, live from Barley's.